All right, this video is going to be dedicated to getting the downpipe set up finally. Nonetheless, it's something that has to get done before we attempt first start. I'm also going to be, in the midst of this video, going to the same person to get my IAT bung welded for the sensor that's going to go right here. But that's nothing. Like, I'm going to be taking that pipe to him and say, hey, this is where I want the sensor welded in. Nothing special. For the downpipe though, something that I gotta do because I don't want to have to, stop everything that I'm doing progress-wise on the car. Tow it to a shop so that they can fab up the downpipe and wait on that, possibly pushing back the build 4 or 5 weeks, because a lot of shops that I talked to were backed up 4 or 5 weeks, and then tow it back so I can finish working on the car, because I still got a decent amount of stuff to do. And if I do that, pushes back the build guaranteed, because I'm not able to get to it to do work, all that stuff. So since I don't want to mess with that, plus it's more expensive because now you got to pay for towing, but since I don't want to do that, this is what I'm going to do. The first step that I'm taking towards this process, and if you have the ability to weld, then you don't need to watch this video unless you're just looking for tips on how to mock it up before you weld something. If you're trying to weld it all together at once, then I can see you watching this video. But if you don't have the ability to weld and you don't want to have to mess with towing the car to a shop to get the downpipe welding and then having to tow it all the way back, basically making it a $500 to $1,000 process, this is how I'm going about doing it. So I took my intake pipe. This is 2.5 in diameter. I know that the outlet on my turbo is 3 inches, it's a 3-inch V-band. This is 3-inch PVC pipe. What I'm planning on doing is mocking up my downpipe using this pipe. So I'm going to be, not like this of course, I'm going to be cutting it using the 90-degree bends, using this pipe and all that stuff. And I got a 45 just in case, because I'm not sure about one section of it. But actually I'm going to get 2 45s because I ain't trying to come back here. But basically, rule of thumb is mock it up with PVC. Once you have a mock-up that fits exactly how you want it to fit and all that stuff, take it to the shop, have them weld a duplicate out of steel, and then boom. And then, mark where you're going to put the O2 sensor, and that's pretty much that. So I'm at Lowe's grabbing this pipe and stuff like that. This is $8, and I think all of these were like another $5 or so. So about 20 bucks. But I'd rather spend 20 bucks and fab this up than pay $130 to get it towed to the place, then another $130, and this is minimum, another $130 to get it towed back. We're at $260, 30 bucks. So I'm gonna take this stuff back to the storage unit, start cutting it up, and we'll go. All right, so I'm back. I have a multitude of these, what are these? Piping adapters, angles, bends. So I have 390s, 245s, and then I got the main piece. Ultimately, I did do a couple test fitting just to make sure that it is 3-inch. This is definitely a 3-inch V-band outlet, so we're good on that. I got the right size. They didn't have 2.5 piping. They only had 3 and 2, and I didn't want to go 2, so I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna make it work with 3, and we'll call it at that. Big test is right here, seeing if it fits through there, and it does. So I will be able to get away with the 3-inch downpipe. Now I could be super lazy and just have it be like that and then bend to come there, but no, not gonna be super lazy, because I want this to be decent. I'm not worried about the brake lines, because I'm going to be doing, after the car is set up, running and idling fine, I'm going to be doing a big brake conversion, but nothing too crazy. It's just the CTSV front rim bows, and when I do that, I'll be getting the braided lines instead of hard lines, so it'll go down and under the engine instead of over and all this ugly stuff. So yeah, that's why I'm not worried about these brake lines getting in the way. The only thing that I am worried about is my second turbo dump. So I got that dump pipe that's good. The second turbo dump is not on there because I needed a very low profile 90 to come off of this so that I can have that dump pipe go down. Here, I'll show you guys. So this is the other dump pipe. It has a 90 on it, but there was no way that I could angle this wastegate without hitting anything where this dump pipe could connect to it. So if I got a 90 to mount to that, I'd be good. And that's what I ordered. It's on the way, so I'm waiting on that. That's the only thing I'm somewhat worried about is, you know, if I have something coming straight off of here, it might run into it, but I don't think that that's gonna happen, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. But yeah, so there's a couple ways you could do this. You could do it the lazy way, like I just showed, have just straight piping come down and just get the first bin worked up, or you could do it what I would argue is the better way, and what I'm thinking is have it come back, one bin down, another bin to have it go straight back, and then call it on that. I have the angled pieces to try and make it quick. These are all 90, or these three are 90, so I can just pop this onto the edge of that, and then I'll have a 90-degree bend, and then I could just cut this to length and be good. But I think that I'm gonna have to do what they do with exhausts and stuff like that, or anybody in the exhaust shop or piping shop, for this area where it connects to the actual down, or when it gets to this point where it's going down. For that area, I think I'm gonna have to do pie cuts, because it's not a 45, it's a little bit less than a 45. So obviously they didn't have one of those for it, so I might have to do just pie cuts for that, call it a day. So that's going to be the bulk of this thing, is going to be just taking the Sawzall, cutting this thing up, getting it to fit, taping it together, marking where I want stuff, and then having that ready to give to the shop so that they can weld it up and be good. My wideband O2 sensor and a bunch of other parts that is needed to finish this thing up are already on the way. They should get here within the next week, but timeline's going to be different from now and when I upload this video, so you guys probably won't see it for a minute. I've been doing a little miscellaneous stuff that I haven't, just not worth recording. As you can see, all the vacuum lines are pretty much routed. I'm waiting on my mount for the boost control solenoid. That's going to end up being right here, but I have the lines that are all going to be going to it. I've just looped these for now, because my T-fittings are also on the way. So when they get here, I'm going to put the T-fitting in those two and connect all three of these, or connect all three of these lines to the solenoid, and then wire it up. I'll do a video on that just for fundamentals. But brake booster, vacuum line is connected, map sensor is installed over there, fuel pressure regulator, that vacuum line is connected, and I routed the PCV vent valve back into the intake manifold, just like how it is on OEM RB engines. That is part of I stated that in the catch can install episode, or catch can install video. So just a real quick recap. If you have the stock manifold, there will be a nipple that comes off of here that goes back into the manifold, and it's just for that extra crankcase ventilation, PCV stuff. Puts it back in the manifold so you could burn it off, and it's for emissions and stuff like that. You can vent it to atmosphere. I decided that I'd rather just burn it off. So yeah, fuel lines connected, all that other stuff, you know, miscellaneous stuff that I'm not going to be recording. It's not worth a video. Putting the front end back together as well. Got the headlights on, got fenders on, hood is on, bumpers coming up. I'll probably be doing that after I do the downpipe thing. But yeah, we are actually on the final stretch to first start and hearing this thing run, and I'm getting very excited because after that I'm just buying a drive shaft and we're good to go. But I'm gonna stop giving y'all updates. I'm gonna cut to the next portion. So I've marked where I'm gonna make my first cut. This is what I'm gonna use to make the pie cuts, because that distance should go from here to here, where the first bend is supposed to go. So got that marked up to be cut. Just gonna take the Sawzall at it. You can use the grinding wheel if you want to. It'll probably take a little bit longer and it may or may not be straight. I want to use this to keep it straight. Cut that and then start making little pie cuts. I'll show you guys what I mean for the people that don't know what a pie cut is. All right, for those that don't know, this is the PVC version of a pie cut. So instead of having it flat like this, where it just goes and it's straight into the brake lines and stuff like that, I want to turn it a little bit. You see how that space opens up in the shape of a pie? That's what the pie cut would be for. The one that I made is a little bit too big because it's a lot thicker than that. So I'm probably going to cut this pie cut in half. But yeah, this is kind of where we're starting things off at. It looks like I may only need one of them though, to just bend it slightly, because I wanted to kind of, you know, avoid these brake lines for now. But if I turn it like that a little bit, that's pretty much how much I need. So yeah, I'm probably gonna cut the one that I made in half or grind it down a little bit, and then from that point cut that back straight and put the first bend in, and then we'll be good to go. All right, so I've done a lot of cutting and a lot of fitting and a lot of taping and everything, and I ultimately think that I got it ready to go. So you see it down there, I mean, it's just hanging there for now, and then I'm gonna pull this out afterwards and kind of go over it with you guys, but try to get this to line back up. Hard to do with one hand, but this is the closest I could get. So you see, got it all the way through, and this is 3-inch, so I will be able to run a 3-inch downpipe. Goes all the way down there and comes off. Should come off to the stock location, but I'm gonna have a custom exhaust anyway, and I have clearance underneath the wastegate for that 90-degree that I was talking about earlier. So I'm gonna pull this out and I'm gonna show you guys a little bit closer about it. So this is the aftermath of, zoom out. That's the aftermath of my fabrication job. All the writing that's on here, this is to help the shop get it right. When you message these shops to see if you can make a downpipe out of PVC and have them replicate it, I guarantee you they are going, the ones that, well, probably all of them, the first thing they're going to say is, we cannot guarantee your fitment. And they're either going to say, due to that, we're not going to do it, or due to that, if it doesn't fit, it falls on you. They are going to say that. I guarantee it's going to happen. You know, they may say, hey, we could do it, but we can't guarantee it's going to fit or whatever. But yeah, so when I was in college, I took a welding class, I took a fabrication class. I know how to make this out of metal. I just don't have access to a welder, and there's no power in here, so I can't rent one. So I got to pay somebody to do it. Since I kind of know what they use and how they, you know, how to fab something like this up, I've just marked it up as much as I can. So I told them about the pie cut that's in front of this. That pie cut is about a 1/2 inch on top. I'm doing measurements of diameter, not distance, length from here to here. I just didn't do the length from on the like curved portions because I don't have an accurate way of measuring that. But I also did the measurements of the distance all around because it's different with these cuts. It's 10.5 inches here, but up here it's 10 inches. Keep going to the bottom side, it's 9 inches. And that's on the bottom side of that cut. Same thing here, 6.5 inches here. If you go to the other side, it's 5 3/4. So there's stuff like that. Got the place marked where I want the wideband 02 to be welded in. Let them know what type of turbo I have and what outlet it has, which is a 3-inch V-band. Circled that this is a 3-inch diameter pipe, and told them I did cut an angle piece in there, which is that one. I'm going to give them that angle piece as well, just so they could get the angle, because I don't have a way of measuring how much of an angle I cut it. And yeah, taped it up as much as I could so that it doesn't move in the process. Like, you got to actually be trying to get these to rotate and stuff like that in order for it to do it. Marked it where they line up, so that if it does rotate a little bit, you can still kind of line it back up. That's one thing. Just want to keep that stuff in. It helps them make it more accurate. That way, they're not guessing in some angles and possibly making it so that it doesn't fit. The more details you give them, the less they're going to have to figure out, the more it's going to be accurate. I already sent them a video of this exact piece in there, mounted the way I wanted to, fitting just like I showed you guys, so that they can see that this piece as it is right now does fit in the car, even with these extra pieces on these adapters that are bigger than 3 inches. So when this is all a 3-inch pipe, it'll fit even better. So yeah, that's pretty much how that is. As far as the fabrication side, that's that. So the next thing is just getting this over to them, letting them do their thing, and then waiting for it to come back, pretty much. So I'll cut, this video is going to get drawn out because I'm going to have to wait for them. But the next clip will be when this is done and all that. Make sure you definitely put, because I also put that when I do have my exhaust, when I get my exhaust custom made, it's going to be 3 inches of damn near straight pipe, and it's going to connect to a V-band. So V-band outlet, V-band inlet, boom, done deal. But yeah, and I also told them what type of wideband I have, just in case, so they can know what bung to use, stuff like that. I'm going to be as detailed as possible. But yeah, I'm going to cut to the next clip when this comes back, and then we'll be installing that, and we'll see how it goes. All right. So the only thing with the downpipe, as you can see, it fits. It's good. Everything is great. And I got room for the wastegate to do my dump pipe, like design. Cool. Only problem is the clamp. So this is a 3.5, and I don't know if I told them that or not. I probably did. It's a 3.5 clamp for the V-band. It needs to be a 3 clamp for the V-band. So it's a little bit loose. You can actually just pull this off if you try to. It doesn't clamp down on the turbo side, but that's about it. Send them a message. They're cool with going ahead and changing the 3.5 out for a 3, so it's no biggie. And then I'll wrap it after that. But that's not gonna stop first start. I just wanted to have something on there to redirect exhaust, majority of exhaust gases down. So we are still hopefully going to attempt first start today, and then we'll just get this fixed. Probably I'm going out of town on the next 2 weekends, so I won't be uploading any videos for a minute. So this will probably get fixed at the end of the month or something. That'll be the next time I'm able to touch the car. But yep, that's that. We'll come back to that later.